At this time, if Team Lazarus wants to come on deck, that would be great.
Thank you very much, Ash, for the introduction.
Team Lazarus, really thrilled for you guys to be bringing up, the rear here. It's a wonderful team, with Lloyd, Rohit, Iman, and Abba. There's a fun fact that they've shared, but I don't know who it is. So maybe if we're lucky, Lloyd will let us know later. But one of the members from the team was featured on season 3 of The Voice. So don't give it away just yet, Lloyd, but maybe, after the pitch, you can let us know. I'm very curious. But Team Lazarus was actually founded by Lloyd and his 3 brothers, Ronald, Nelson, and Edward. They're all graduates of University of Maryland, Baltimore County. So in the spirit of Chesapeake Digital Health Exchange and going beyond the borders of our university, our medical campus, it's great to have a team that's really a synergistic effort between colleagues from different institutions. So at this time, Team Lazarus, take it away.
Thank you very much, Ash, for the warm introduction, and thanks, judges and everyone here. So allow me to introduce you to Jan. Jan suffers from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, also known as COPD. Her condition affects her ability to perform the basic activities we often take for granted. Every activity that we all perform requires one basic and very important action, which is to breathe. You see, when we can't breathe properly, it affects our ability to function. For Jan, who is suffering from COPD, the simple activities in life such as sitting and walking now becomes a burden due to symptoms such as shortness of breath, coughing, or wheezing. Let's hear what Jan has to say about this.
Well, there's some days that I feel like I can take on the world. The breathing's not that bad. There's other days that no matter how much treatments I give myself, I just can't seem to catch my breath. It's like somebody put duct tape over your mouth and your nose and just cut a little hole and you're breathing through a straw. It's all I want to do is breathe. I went to my primary care and said, this is not working.
This isn't working for Jan and many others affected with COPD. COPD is a problem that unfortunately affects 16.4 million people like Jan in the United States each day. Of those diagnosed with COPD, 24% of them are readmitted within 30 days to their provider for further care. This is due to many factors, including accurate and reliable quantitative data. This gap in patient monitoring data, in addition to other factors, makes COPD the 4th leading cause of death in the United States. What we see are 3 main trends that persist in the population of COPD patients. Firstly, we note that the patients are often homebound and isolated from care and support. Secondly, the cost of the necessary drugs to support these patients have become extremely high and not affordable. And lastly, the lack of real-time monitoring needed to predict exacerbations does not exist and lead to costly and burdensome readmissions. All of this can be boiled down into one question, which is, how might we fill in the data gap in serving patients like Jan? Introducing Wear.Me by Lasarrus. Our solution is the wearable multimodal electroacoustic device. It captures both physiological and range of motion data at any point along the body. Our Wear.Me jacket utilizes a body area sensor network that enables multiple Wear.Me sensors to communicate with each other and aggregate multiple data streams to a mobile device. Our Wear.Me system consists of the required body sensors and optional finger sensors. Each Wear.Me body sensor is effectively an EKG monitor, a digital stethoscope, a thermometer, and a goniometer to measure body rotation all in one small package. Jan simply needs to turn on one or more Wear.Me sensors, insert them into the desired pockets on her apparel, and begin her telehealth or remote patient monitoring session. Furthermore, each Wear.Me sensor utilizes a patent-pending acoustic technology that enables a pulmonologist to listen to her heart, her lungs, and even muscle sounds via acoustic myography. If needed, Jan can also utilize her hand and finger smart glove, which incorporates a pulse oximeter sensor that allows her to monitor our oxygen saturation levels. Wear.Me is being developed by Team Lazarus, which was founded in the summer of 2013. Since then, we have worked hard to develop a comprehensive wearable solution and have been recognized for numerous achievements. winners of the Intel Global Design Contest in 2018, which came first out of 441 contestants. An NSF SBIR Phase 1 grant in the spring of 2019, which we've used to develop and validate our WhereMe device. An issued patent and 2 pending patents around the technology of WhereMe, and a second NSF SBIR grant early this year to develop the algorithms and software tools that enables WhereMe to fill in the data gap for complex care patients like Jan. WhereMe aims to fill in the data gap such that Jan's provider can better monitor her COPD progression at home, prescribe medications and treatments in a more timely fashion, and ultimately reduce the likelihood of COPD exacerbations and readmissions. You see, COPD is the second highest preventable adult inpatient stays in the United States. This equates to a $7.2 billion cost, or a mean cost of approximately $9,000 per stay. This means that by reducing the rate of readmissions of COPD patients, we can save the health system a tremendous cost in healthcare expenses. WhereMe is well positioned to continue growing in the evolving telehealth and remote patient monitoring spaces. As according to experts in Johns Hopkins, it is expected that 20 to now 30% of healthcare from now on will involve telehealth. The market opportunity is significant, with a serviceable obtainable market for COPD telehealth of $3.7 billion, and is expected to grow at a compound annual rate of approximately 28%. The market opportunities in this growing space include an increased shift towards simplification and automation, increasing the cellular and broadband connectivity, and a focus on reducing the healthcare costs by aiding timely response and decreasing hospitalization. And particularly, we see a big opportunity in the distribution of our WhereMe to patients like Jan through a prescription model that ultimately addresses the top 2 market opportunities. When we look at the competitive landscape, we found that our solution is the first ever multimodal sensing solution that can be used to recommend medication doses through breathing assessments. Furthermore, WhereMe can be used for activity tracking, lung monitoring, and heart monitoring, which provides a holistic picture of Jan's COPD and overall health in the portable and easy-to-use wearable. All this translates to its parameter equivalence assessment, which is currently the gold standard for COPD monitoring. And WhereMe is also non-invasive, comprehensive, and equally as effective. At Lasarrus, we are improving health outcomes for patients requiring telemedicine and remote patient monitoring. Our mission is to rise up and walk, which aims to speed up the path to recovery for every patient. This is reflected in our branding. We'll be generating revenue through our WhereMe device kits and software and licenses for remote patient health monitoring with advanced data analytics. We'll be selling our WhereMe kits through a distributor using a prescription model, such that a patient like Jan will be prescribed with a kit to take home to monitor changes in her breathing and recommend medication doses appropriately. Furthermore, our WhereMe solution will be low cost to allow patients under Medicare or Medicaid to cover the expenses with little to no out-of-pocket cost. Our value chain is based on a prescription model, meaning a patient like Jan will receive a prescription from their pulmonologist to begin use of WhereMe to track her COPD symptoms. Lasarrus will initially work with a dual pharmacy distributor to leverage their unique position, who will provide our WhereMe devices to the patient based on the prescription obtained by the pulmonologist. The pharmacy will already have a stock of our sensors and apparels, which have been manufactured and shipped by Lasarrus ahead of time to guarantee availability of WhereMe kits for each COPD patient. The patient will then exchange their prescription for the device to take home to monitor any symptoms exacerbations and recommend medication doses. The insurance company would then reimburse the pharmacy distributor for the prescription transaction, who would then pay us for the sale of the WhereMe device. We'll ensure low out-of-pocket costs for patients, especially on patients who are on Medicare and Medicaid or Medicaid. To achieve our goals and objectives, we will spend a majority of this fiscal year developing our software tool and manufacturing process for regulatory compliance and certification. This includes a clinical trial with patients to quantify the efficacy of our WhereMe device in improving COPD patient outcomes. By late 2021, early 2022, we plan on signing a pilot agreement with Hopkins to demonstrate the feasibility of our WhereMe system. We plan to solidify a contract with a major pharmaceutical medical device distributor, such as Alto Pharmacy, to allow us to scale as we expand into our niche market. Our competitive advantage allows us to be well positioned in the wearable technology market and have a great potential for expansion into adjacent spaces. Lasarrus has already demonstrated traction in the physical therapy space and has already secured 2 pilot agreements with big name PT clinics for testing of our WAMI system. This lucrative market overlaps with other growing markets, such as congestive heart failure and other complex care markets. Based on our vision, our versatile technology can be adapted to best suit the population health needs. Some other markets we can address are health and wellness, physiotherapy, smart clothing, and more. To help us meet our goals, we will need to acquire different types of resources along the way. This includes both capital and human resources. For this fiscal year, we're seeking to build our alliance with providers who will assist us in our planned clinical studies. We are also looking to bring on consultants or contractors who will provide us with FDA regulatory compliance services and filings. Furthermore, we are planning to raise additional seed funds to prepare for next year's planned pilot studies with Johns Hopkins. WRMI has already been validated within the physical therapy space, and now we can work to bridge these data gaps to create a new normal for complex care such that Jan and other COPD patients and their providers to engage with their healthcare. WRMI has been developed in this space by Team Lasarrus, which was founded by myself and my 3 brothers. And by the way, my brother Nelson was the one who was on The Voice season 3. The team also includes Rohit, Iman, and myself, and Abba, who are all part of this accelerator. Rise up and walk with WRMI by Lasarrus towards a healthier tomorrow. Thank you.
Great work, Team Lasarrus. Thank you so much, Lloyd. Excellent presentation. I will hand it off to the judges for their feedback. Let's go ahead and start with Troy.
Thank you, Lloyd. Thank you and your team. You know, what I appreciate, just not just about yours, but all the presentation we heard today is, you know, the creativity and thinking about a problem that really does affect people at a very personal level. And this obviously does affect people at a very personal level with COPD. I have several family members that are impacted by COPD, so I can very much appreciate what you're doing. The one thing I'd have you think about, you know, when you're in this wearable market, you know, the wearable market is, you know, moved to, you know, there's a fashion orientation to it too, you know, even though there's an efficacy that you're trying to figure. So, you know, how do you balance those two things? I think will be one of the things you'll have to kind of think through as you launch this, because no one wants to be the one called out looking like they got a bunch of stuff sticking on the side of them when they're wearing these things. So thinking through kind of the design of this and how it can be made so that it's not as visual as I think I saw in some of your presentations, I think would be one of the things you'll need to think about in future versions of it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Troy. Thanks for the feedback.
Thanks so much, Troy. All righty, Chris.
Terrific job. I would say the thing that struck me as well is you have a very accomplished family there on the management team. You should all be proud of yourself. I think the presentation was really easy to understand. There's always a need, and I think telehealth is exacerbating that need to try to get more data and more analytics out at the place where the patient lives rather than in the hospital or the doctor setting. One of the things I think I would think about is who is your first target market for going after that data acquisition. And if it were me, I'm not sure COPD would be my first disease state. So just a thought. I mean, I think the sensors and the devices could be used for a lot of different disease states, and it might be easier to get to market in something other than COPD first, but it's definitely a need there as well. So great presentation, and we're going to be seeing Lasarrus and other devices like this in the market more and more every quarter going forward.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for the feedback.
You're welcome.
Great. Eileen?
Yeah, so congratulations. I really enjoyed your presentation and learned a lot. I also know individuals impacted by COPD. I sort of smiled because we're fortunate to have Jackie Robowski on our board, and Dr. Freeman Robowski is a friend, and they would be very proud of their UMBC alumni. They tout that they're extraordinary, and I think that you just were a shining example with your family. So I'll certainly share that the next time I see them, that you did them proud. In terms of the solution, one, I thought it was overall very well presented. I agree with Troy's comment that whenever you get into wearables, the look and feel become really important. We actually had a symposium on that about a year and a half ago, pre-COVID. And the combination with a scientist with creatives was really encouraged because they think about those aspects in a very different way. And partnering with people who know textiles, for example, out of mica. The other thing that I think is a concern, and I actually have an investment in a technology that works in wearables, is that, you know, it's an emerging area. I think a challenge may be reimbursement and whether the codes exist at a sufficient level for that kind of monitoring that you can be adequately compensated. So even if you clear FDA from a regulatory strategy, do you have the reimbursement in place? And that may drive, to Chris's comment, where you want to put your first targets, because you want to have a target where those codes are already in place and are of sufficient reimbursement to be valuable.
So thanks, Eileen. That's definitely something we're considering, and we appreciate the feedback on that.
All right, great work, Team Lazarus, and really appreciate the judges' feedback. You're off the hook, Lloyd, and thanks for letting us know that it was your brother Nelson that was on season 3 of The Voice. Way to go, Nelson and team.